Well, welcome back to the Maverick News Channel, everyone. A bit of a misfire there on the opener of the show, but we are ready to rock and roll. Nevertheless, we are live, and tonight you get to weigh in on the conversation, offer up your opinion, your perspective on the another technical problem. Hang on just a moment. There, I fixed that. Okay, reverb audio in my head, but I have fixed it. So we are ready to go. You can join the conversation tonight, talking about Chris Barber, Tamara Lich. Tomorrow, they are supposed to be sentenced. The Crown seeking 7 and 8 years, 7 for one, 8 for the other, increasing what they were originally looking for, which we were told back in April was 2 years for their participation in the Freedom Convoy. So it's been a long time coming, and tomorrow we find out. We're supposed to what their penalty or their punishment will be now that they have been found guilty on, I believe, mischief charges and maybe some other things. You can weigh in on the conversation tonight. We'll get into the details. Also, Donald Trump still trying his best to pivot away from the Epstein scandal, the Epstein files story, the story that just won't go away. Today, accusing Obama of treason while meeting with the media in the White House. We'll bring you the latest on that. And Obama has now responded. We'll tell you what he had to say. Plus, Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. We'll get into the satanic side of things with the Prince of Darkness. And maybe you want to comment on that. And I'll certainly be looking in the chat with regard to that as well tonight. Plus, Pierre Poilievre crying and whining and crying about way too many candidates in his by-election out in Alberta land. And I have to admit, it seems pretty absurd. I'm laughing about it. I'm not even sure why this is some sort of a viable strategy to prevent him from being elected, because all the candidates have to deal with the fact that they now have, get this, 150 candidates running in that riding. So he is looking for changes in the law to prevent this kind of thing from happening, because it's a repeat of what happened during the general federal election, where they had a lot of candidates running against Poilievre in that riding. And of course, he lost his seat. So is it malicious? Yeah, probably. But I don't, why does it hurt him and not the other candidates? I guess they have to do numbers and figure out what they're doing to see if the numbers work against their opponent, that being Poilievre. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight as well. What else do I have on my list here? I'm just looking down at my notes. Those are some of the main things, and then we're going to go to the phones pretty soon, actually. And if you guys want to call in, the topic du jour is the pending sentencing of Chris Barber, Tamara Lich. Coming up tomorrow, you get to weigh in tonight, because it's an unusual case. A lot of unusual things have happened even within the past 24 hours with regard to that story. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to give you a take on things that you're probably not going to find any place else. So stay with me. We start digging into today's top news stories on the other side of this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
First up tonight, just a prelude to things to come, because we are going to be highlighting this preview of the sentencing of Tamara Lich and Chris Barber for their participation in the Freedom Convoy. It's the sentencing coming up tomorrow. They were found guilty back in April of mischief for leading the 3-week demonstration that blockade depends on your perspective, the streets of downtown Ottawa, protesting the COVID-19 mandates and maybe some other things that, depending on which group you're looking at there in Ottawa, but the mandates certainly were front and center as the main concern, I think, for the vast majority of people who went to the protest. Was it entirely organic? No, it wasn't. But much of it was. Some of it was. Some of it wasn't. It was many things at the same time, as we have come to find out. For the more enlightened people who are here, and the more educated, and the more savvy, I would say, that would be you guys, since you're kind of clued in to what's kind of really been going on. Excuse me. And we've had people from across the freedom movement on this program over the last few years, kind of unraveling a lot of the things that made up the Freedom Convoy and continues to make up the freedom movement, such as it is in Canada these days. Changed a bit, it has. But Barber was also convicted of counseling others to disobey a court order related to excessive truck horn noise, and the pair was acquitted of several other charges, including intimidation and obstructing police. Crown prosecutors are reportedly now. Okay, so here's the thing. Back when they were convicted, we were told the Crown was seeking a 2-year prison sentence. Now, as of yesterday, Tamara Lich posts document that appears to say that the Crown is now seeking 7 or maybe 8 years for each of them. And that's very unusual. I can't think of a legal case, any court case, where something like that has happened in this way. I can't think of any case I've ever covered where the Crown has provided documents to the court on what they are seeking in terms of sentencing for a high-profile case, or even any case I've ever covered, just a couple of days beforehand, and makes those same documents available to the defense, to then have one of the defendants publicly release said document in any way, shape, or form, in this case on social media. It's extremely unusual. It brings the motives behind doing it, I think, are fairly apparent and clearly political. And I think maybe an attempt at some sort of self-preservation through the application of political pressure through the court of public opinion. Very unusual. I can't think of any other this ever happening before. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight, later in the broadcast. So there's that. Plus, there's this political element of Pierre Poilievre and some other conservative members of parliament coming out just yesterday and kind of putting their support behind Barber and Lich, and then having Chris Barber turn around and saying, "Thanks, Pierre, for the support," which again, unprecedented. I've never seen anything quite like it. I'll comment on it, and you guys can as well during the call-in portion of the program. There have been other cases where documents related to sentencing have been released or put out into the public through the media, but I can't ever think of a defendant actually taking documents like that and posting it. I mean, it wasn't even the lawyer. Now, the JCCF apparently did release this information, but I don't know if they released the documents. It's very strange. And to first have the Crown's, I guess, saying they're seeking 2 years, and then just 2 days before sentencing, turn around and say that they're now seeking 7 to 8 years. If that's even true, I'm wondering if maybe this has been presented somewhat out of context. This in itself might lead to some sort of delay in sentencing. I could see that possibly happening as a result of this information being shared on social media. Again, unprecedented. And I don't think that anybody else is really highlighting that fact. This could have an, an unexpected consequence on tomorrow's sentencing hearing. But supporters of Lich and Barber have rallied outside the courthouse throughout the trial. Expect to see that again tomorrow. And then, of course, we have this political element as well with these conservative MPs weighing in on it, which, again, I find that to be unusual. And I'll comment on it more, and you can too. So we've got that, and the call-in portion of the show will primarily be focused on that a little later tonight. Now, also tonight, we're still tracking who else? Donald J. Trump, who today he is still facing scrutiny over his past ties to Jeffrey Epstein, as pressure mounts from his base to release the additional Epstein files that people believe exist, may exist, may not exist, even though we're told that no client list exists. Some people believe it does. It's being suppressed, possibly. Who knows? In response, Trump has done what? He's pivoted to other issues. We've talked about this over the past 2 days. This is amplifying claims by pivoting to these other issues to try to take the focus off the Epstein story. Trump has even turned to Tulsi Gabbard, director of national intelligence now, who is talking about the 2016 election. Now, Gabbard, as we told you yesterday, declassified documents alleging that the Obama administration, including former President Barack Obama himself, engaged in what she is calling a treasonous conspiracy by manufacturing intelligence to suggest Russian interference in Trump's 2016 victory. And Gabbard has called for a criminal investigation, or multiple investigations even, referring documents to the Justice Department, though no specific charges have been outlined. Democrats, including Representative Jim Himes, have dismissed these claims as baseless, accusing Gabbard of attempting to distract from the Epstein controversy. So Trump today in the White House meeting with media, also, I believe he actually used the word treason at one point. And here he is. Let's play this clip for you. I believe we've got him here. Yeah, we'll run this one first. Okay. It says Obama is the ringleader. Hillary Clinton was right there with him. And so was Sleepy Joe Biden. It's a whole cast of characters that Trump is targeting.
No, Barack Hussein Obama is the ringleader. Hillary Clinton was right there with him, and so was Sleepy Joe Biden. And so were the rest of them. Comey, Clapper, the whole group. And they tried to rig an election, and they got caught. And then they did rig the election in 2020. And then because I knew I won that election by a lot, I did it a third time, and I won in a landslide. Every swing state won the popular vote. But I won that all the same way in 2020. And look at the damage that was caused. No.
He's the ringleader. Well, Obama actually responded today. And I have the quote from him somewhere here. Hang on. I got to bring him up. Where'd we go? There it is right there. Okay. Let's show you the quote from Obama. This is a statement. He said, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. So, Obama weighing in on this. And as I'm saying, that this is Trump's attempt to pivot away from the Epstein files controversy and embarrassments and all these old videos and some new, actually, circulating on social media, highlighting Trump's escapades with women dating back to like the 80s, 90s. Here's his response to a question about all of this today, because it looks like the Department of Justice is going to be meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. Let me get you the clip. Here we go. So, Department of Justice meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Mr. President, do you support the Justice Department seeking an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell and to urge the Attorney General to see?
I don't know anything about it. They're going to what? Meet her?
Your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
Do you have any concern that your Deputy Attorney General is your former attorney would be conducting the interview, given?
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much.
Yeah, Trump says that he has ordered the release of all credible information and evidence. But some people still pretty convinced that a lot of documentation being withheld. Because we were told, we're going to release all this stuff as soon as we're in office. And now Trump's back in power, and it's like nothing to see here, folks. We will continue to follow that because it's the story that's not going away. It's like the song that never ends. Remember that from when you were a kid? I won't sing it because if I do, we'll be here forever because it just never ends. Okay, let's take a little break. I will play this, and we'll come back on the other side.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
All right, Prime Minister Mark Carney met with Canada's premiers today in Huntsville, Ontario, cottage country, beautiful up there. They were talking about, you guessed it, Trump tariffs, trade, the economy. Trump's threat of a 35% tariff on Canadian goods is set to take effect August 1st, unless a new trade deal is reached. Carney was speaking at the Council of Federation Conference. He emphasized that Canada will only accept a deal that serves the nation's best interests. He outlined a two-track strategy today supporting industries like steel, aluminum, automotive manufacturing. He hit hard by existing U.S. tariffs. I know today there was a story out just about Stellantis, very worried about their future in Canada and even around the world. That company has been struggling. The Brampton assembly facility up there on the line, and I mean that in a negative way. A lot of auto workers in Canada concerned. So this is this two-track strategy. It's about strengthening Canada's economy, he says, by fast-tracking major projects, which we've been hearing about, and reducing internal trade barriers. So let's go to Carney talking about this, because today all the talk is like, can a deal be done by August 1st? And while the deadline is there and seems to be somewhat self-imposed, I'm not sure that it really matters that much. Even on the U.S. side, what we were hearing today from U.S. officials was it isn't so much about the timing of the deal, it's about the quality of the deal, as they say on the U.S. side. And over here in Canada, I can tell you that Canada is kind of playing it cool. When I say that, I mean it's like quiet diplomacy and quiet negotiation. They're not really revealing to the public exactly what's going on with the trade negotiations, leaving most of the public bluster to Donald Trump. And I'll say a little bit more about that after we hear what Mark Carney had to say today about the August 1st self-imposed deadline.
Time you talk to President Trump. Just quickly, what happens if there's no deal on August 1st?
I mean, we'll to get the best deal for Canadians, and that's the focus now. I think what's absolutely clear is we have a lot to do in this country. We have a lot to do that's positive.
What happens if there's no deal on August?
Okay, hang on. Let me just, that's very strange. Okay, now he's back. There he is. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go.
At all possible, we would be developing our relationships, coming to a good accord with.
I don't know if we're going to be able to play the clip. Very strange.
With the United States, but the importance is to build up.
Time you talk to President Trump. Just quickly, what happens if there's no deal on August 1st?
I mean, we'll see. We're working to get the best deal for Canadians, and that's the focus now. I think what's absolutely clear is we have a lot to do in this country. We have a lot to do in the United States. The spirit of this meeting, the substance of the meeting, and the substance of our approach, which is positive. This is about building this country. We're getting more and more concrete about how we're going to do that, and it's about building other relationships. At the same time, if at all possible, we would be developing our relationships, coming to a good accord with the United States, but the importance is to build up.
Time you talk to President Trump. Just quickly, what happens if there's no deal on August 1st?
I mean, we'll see. We're working to get the best deal for Canadians, and that's the focus now. I think what's absolutely clear is we have a lot to do in this country. We have a lot to do that's positive to build. That's becoming more concrete. Canadians are excited about that. Canadians are. What's coming out is how fundamentally positive Canadians are. They want to build. They want to move forward. They don't want to dispute, and if there's challenges south of the border with that relationship, we'll focus on what we can do in this great country. And if you're looking for where to spend your vacation, Canadians are spending their vacations across this great land. And this is my last word. I will just give a short plug for the One Canada Pass, which means that it's important. Visiting our national parks, visiting our museums, bringing your children, and including bringing your children 18 and under via rail at these reduced prices or free. And it's a pleasure that Canadians are taking advantage of it.
Can we leverage the opportunity? Can we leverage?
Okay. Also, I can tell you that there is talk of Canada negotiating directly with Mexico, but quietly. There is some sort of a deal that has been negotiated that they're continuing to work on that's going to unfold, we're told, over the next few years, that will increase trade between Canada and Mexico, bypassing the United States altogether. It could bring, reportedly, and this is just what I'm just repeating the reports, as much as $120 billion a year. So pretty big stuff, and that opens the door to doing a lot more trade of that nature as well. So I'm not exactly sure. It's something called the Northern Corridor Trade Route or something to that effect. There's already, through USMCA, provisions to allow the transport of goods through rail and trucks directly from Canada to Mexico without paying tariffs in between to the United States. But this, I believe, will facilitate trade by air and probably ship, and doing an end run around the United States altogether. Very quiet, not really a lot of attention being paid to it, but this is the kind of stuff that is going on that people are just not aware of and not talking about much. This is how Canada is planning to deal with this instability brought about by Trump's tariffs, this trade war. Here's Doug Ford today, picking up where the Premier of Quebec leaves off.
Hi, this is Mickey with Politico. My question is for both premiers, actually.
Again,
there appears to be some tempering of expectations that a deal would be reached on August 1st following your meeting with Mark Carney. And Ford, you obviously just mentioned that Donald Trump is very difficult to deal with. So my question to both of you is, how realistic is it to actually get a deal by August 1st?
Are you guys?
I think it's realistic, but
let me just check in the chat. Can you guys see this okay? I don't know if this video is even playing, because this has gone all wonky. I've never seen this play like this before. All right, that looks like it's playing now. Let me go back and run the clip.
The president's just so unpredictable, and we've seen it over and over again. Yeah, you talk to him one day, and all of a sudden the next day he's on some media outlet saying there's 35% tariff. So he's unpredictable, but we have to focus on what's going to strengthen our country. That's onshoring as much as we can, and I keep using the I-beams and aluminum cans, but there's dozens and dozens of other areas, and make no mistake about it, Donald Trump does need Canada. He needs the oil, he needs the potash, he needs the uranium, he needs the high-grade nickel, he needs the aluminum from Quebec, just to name a few. So we look forward to using our strength in negotiating. And you know what else is a big strength? Let's start negotiating with the rest of the world. It's always better to have a deal with other people, and it really wakes up the person that you're negotiating with. So reaching out to our tariff-free countries, our partners, again, I think it's 51.
Let me see if I can fix this. We'll take a little break and come back on the other side.
Maverick News. fighting for freedom.
Okay, I'm going to try and fix this thing. This is all messed up. Oh my gosh. Totally messed up. See if I can bring up the clip this way. I think we're back in business. All right, let's see if we can run Doug Ford.
My question to both of you is, how realistic is it to actually get a deal by August 1st?
I think it's realistic, but the president's just so unpredictable, and we've seen it over and over again. Yeah.
Something has gone wrong.
But we have.
I do apologize. Okay, let me run another clip. Something's gone totally wonky with the computer. So hang on, I'm working on it.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Let's see. Will it play?
And I keep using the I-beams and aluminum cans, but there's dozens and dozens of other areas. And
why won't it play? Well, you can hang out with me while I play technical computer wizard guru guy. I'm not talking because I need to think.
no mistake about it. Donald Trump does need Canada. He needs the oil. He needs the potash. He needs the uranium. He needs.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
Not working. I don't know what to do. I have to reset everything. Shutting down, might be back. I don't know. Sorry, guys. The whole